Okay, so it seems like we have a little bit of an update to the whole Zentreya situation, which has been going on for the past couple of days now. Now, essentially what has been happening is this is kind of an offshoot from what happened with vshojo. Obviously, Zentreya, hasn't been handling a lot of this situation very well, and has obviously not been in the best of moods recently. And obviously, that's totally okay. And obviously, a lot of people have been supporting her over on Twitter and her community and her, streams and everything like that. And obviously, it's great to see that there's a lot of support for her, as, it is a pretty tough time with a lot of the stuff that, these VTubers are going through. But essentially, a little bit of other information came out, pertaining to her kind of like relationship with Arielle, who is someone who she's collabed with quite a bit on both channels, obviously. And it seems like they were parting ways with a message going out on their Discord, essentially saying that they weren't gonna, be friends any longer and stuff like that. Now, obviously, Arielle actually went live, which we covered in my last video a couple of hours ago, essentially talking about her and Zen and why this happened. And obviously, one of the main reasons that they cite for this is Zen didn't like Ari hanging out with a particular streamer, which, again, or a particular VTuber or someone. And obviously, this caused a little bit of concern in the community because, again, who is that particular streamer? And obviously, Arielle was just like, okay, I'm not very comfortable with you telling me, who to hang out with and stuff. And then obviously it just kind of fell apart from that. And this is just a kind of thing that probably should have been handled in private. And Arielle was, constantly repeating that on her kind of stream, saying like, I don't know why this had to go public, and like we could have just kept this private and everything like that, which obviously, it's a pretty tough time. And I think, Zen is in a space where essentially, she's not exactly the most happiest at the moment with all of the vshojo stuff going on. So I think there is a little bit of room there to kind of give her the benefit of the doubt that she didn't exactly mean to do anything harmful by making it public. And it seems like she did come out of an apology, and actually, in response to a lot of the, Arielle stuff and everything that went on with her community. And essentially, she said, everyone, I thought about doing a stream to address this, but I just wanted this to stay within those whose communities it affected. This will be the last time I address this in public, as everyone just wants to move forward and is tired. Please just leave it at this, so we may all heal with time. Please be respectful and report any malicious people if they're being malicious. They are not a part of this community. We did not act with the intent to cause harm to others. They said, I want to apologize for bringing up a private communication. I thought it best to do it in Discord where communities intertwine. While it's no excuse, I was drinking that night, and being in an emotional state, I made a mistake airing out this info, and I'm deeply sorry for causing this stress to both the communities and those directly involved. As both me and Arielle, I ask that you please respect our privacy and persons, as these have been hard times for all of us, which, yes, understandable. And they say, and I'm sorry for adding on to this as well. I hope we can all be kind together and move forwards, and I wish her only good health and a good future. So, again, it seems like they probably won't be, making up or anything, but obviously she's just, being respectful towards Arielle, which I think is good, and obviously apologizing for making a lot of this situation public. So again, a lot of people have been supporting Zen and saying, it's time just to kind of move on. Emotions are pretty high at the moment, especially with a lot of the stuff that has been going on. And I think that is definitely the kind of thing we need to take away from this. Now, there is one, kind of issue that I do have, is exactly who this VTuber or streamer is, and whether this was just Zen being in an emotional kind of state and, just going after them just because, of that, or if this is actually a genuine problem, a genuine streamer that she has a problem with for a particular reason. Because, I don't know whether it's just a personal thing and she just doesn't like the streamer, which obviously could be the case, or has this person done something to deserve that? Because Zen seems to be a pretty open and, nice person and open to collaborating with pretty much anyone. I think it would take quite a bit for her to dislike someone. But again, we don't have any information on that and that person in particular and who it is. And obviously that does concern me in the fact of the wider community, because if they have done something bad, what exactly did they do? And, who exactly are they interacting with, and what could they do next? And obviously that does concern me slightly, but at the same time, we can't really go into that because, it's, there's no speculation or anything about people. I don't think it's a good thing to speculate any of that, because again, Arielle and Zen, they both collab with a lot of people, so it's kind of impossible to know who exactly Zen was referring to when she said that she didn't like Arielle hanging out with a certain VTuber or streamer or whoever it was. And obviously, yeah, that is the only problem I have. And obviously, I think it is a good idea just to move on, because again, a lot of this could have been kept in private, and obviously even Zen says so herself. But again, I do really want to know if it is of a benefit to the community, what this other person has done and why, she doesn't want them interacting with it, or whether it was just an irrational thing. I would kind of like that to be cleared up, because again, it doesn't just affect those two, it affects the whole community if they could possibly do the same to other people in the community too. But I mean, that is the only really real thing there with in terms of the falling out, and obviously them falling out about it. I mean, obviously that's up to them, and if they don't want to continue, creating content together, then that's totally up to them. And I think it is something that should just be moved on from. They say this has been the worst time for everything and everyone. Emotions are hurt and high. It's a bad time for everyone. Wish them nothing but the best. I hope they can get a mental break from this. That I'm glad she apologized at least. It sucks to see their friendship end on such a sour note. They said most friendships end either on a sour note or through a gradual fade out. And the latter is rare if you're working in the same business, living in the same neighborhood, and can't just vanish from their lives. If there were no sourness, the friendship would have not ended. And all things considered, it was hardly a massive explosion. As far as all parties have stated, it was basically the minimum amount of bad blood required to end a friendship. There's not a massive Google Doc or other stuff like that, which is 100% true. They say, I suppose we'll see in the future, but it seems that friends of both parties are comfortable remaining friends with both of them, so it seems that none of the friends view either party as having misbehaved badly enough to warrant of cutting them off, which is also a very good point. Say with the recent Radia and Adora situation and the Cinder disaster before that, this seems frankly small beans in comparison. Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, compared to the Radia and Adora stuff, the Radia and Adora stuff seems like this, but turned up to about 2 million. Because obviously, they're throwing out Google Docs and accusing each other of different things and, refuting different things. I think, this is a much more tamer version of that in terms of two friends kind of falling out and then not being friends any longer. But in this case, it didn't end in Google Docs. It didn't end in, a lot of extremely bad blood, because again, that could always turn bad. But obviously they say, I suppose this was the best ending that was available. Personally, I would still be enjoying content from the both of them, which is fair enough. So, fortunately, this is the end of it, hopefully. And unfortunately, this whole deal makes it clear that whatever happened between Zen and Mouse plus Ari is severe enough that their friendship is broken to the core. Obviously, a lot of people have been speculating about the whole Mouse stuff. Again, I'm not sure if that was something to do with the vshojo stuff, because again, it could have been. And, I don't really like the speculation behind, Mouse and Zen and their kind of relationship, because again, we know that, vshojo did a lot of emotional manipulation in the background in terms of putting a lot of VTubers against each other, lying to them about what others think whenever they leave and everything like that. So again, it could just be another one of those situations in terms of Iron Mouse and Zen's relationship, because again, we already know that kind of happened with, for example, Niana's and Vebe and stuff, and they've already kind of communicated with each other since then. But again, it was mainly vshojo's staff going and telling them that a lot of, stuff was going on, and that they were money hoarding, whatever, and they were greedy, which obviously, yeah, I think is obviously absolutely horrible that they even did that in the first place, because it does lead to situations like this of mistrust and a lot of, kind of just emotional, turmoil, I guess. They say, what were they even fighting about in the first place? Same with Iron Mouse, said it's private for the most part, but obviously they clarified that she was collabing with someone, and Zen tried to prevent her and control who she could stream with. I mean, again, I don't think she tried to prevent her. I think she again, it's kind of a hard word, because saying that you prevented her makes it seem like she stole her stream key and told her that she couldn't stream or something like that, which obviously didn't happen. I think she just said I don't really like you hanging out with this person. I'm pretty sure that is what happened. And obviously then, Arielle was just I don't really appreciate these and that kind of thing. So frankly, we shouldn't even know that much though, which obviously, as I said, is a private matter that doesn't need to be aired out in public. But again, and they said the same with whatever's going on between her and Mouse, which is true. But again, I would still like to know what that person is and what they've done. Obviously, it could just be a thing of Zen just didn't like her, him, her, whoever, obviously, we don't know who it is. But again, it could just be a case that they didn't like them and that they were worried about something completely different, or it could be a community scale problem. Where obviously it could affect other VTubers. So it would be nicer to get some clarification on, I'm not saying they should just expose the person or whatever, but maybe if they should, I think Zem should have maybe said hey, you know, it was just a personal thing that I had against them. It's nothing, you know, it's nothing that's going to affect anybody else. Because again, that would just be nice for a bit of clarification, but I do understand that it is a pretty private situation now, and hopefully they can sort that out between themselves. And, you know, as long as they sort it out between themselves, I think it should be fine, and that whoever this person is, it shouldn't, you know, get too bad. And obviously if Arielle's still hanging out with them, I doubt they've done anything terrible, you know. But again, I think that it is a pretty interesting situation, and I think this is going to be essentially the end of this one little bit here. And again, I thought it was, yeah, just something that should have stayed private. And obviously Zen, you know, just had a little bit of a hard time and was, yeah, showing a little bit too much while drunk on stream, and obviously off stream as well. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I hope that they both do good. I hope that Arielle does good, that Zen does good. I don't think there's any bad person in this situation. I think it is just two friends, obviously, that, you know, are no longer friends anymore. So, yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. They got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.